Okay, hi Stars fans. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Melbourne Stars podcast. We're lucky to review a win. I'm joined by my co-host as always.
Hey guys, it's Jacob here from Melbourne Stars News, and I'm pretty pleased to be reviewing yet another positive win. That's fourth in a row for the Melbourne Stars, and we're also joined by Zach and Josh. So welcome in, guys, and we hope you're doing well. And yeah, I'll
G'day,
let you take
guys.
it away, Heath.
How you
Yeah,
going?
yeah, good. Thank you. So, obviously we're going to recap the game, and then we'll get our thoughts on the Stars' perspective and on the Renegades' perspective as well.
Yeah, sounds perfect. It'll be good to hear from a Renegades point of view, and yeah, I can't wait to talk about this game.
Yeah, so obviously the Renegades sent us into bat. They won the toss, sent us in the bat. We were 7 down, and I was like, "Oh God, not again! Please don't get bowled out. I don't want to get a long night." But then, thanks to the efforts of Maxwell's 90 odd, we got to a total of 165, and thanks to Steketee, we managed to get the Renegades all out for 123. So, what was your positives, guys, from a point of view?
I'll start with my positives. I think the main one would have to be the bowling. It's the second time in a row where we've defended a low total, which has been really impressive. Usually when we're going to bat first, it's a struggle and we fail to defend. But we've been able to hold off the Renegades and the Sixers. So that's been really pleasing to see that we can actually defend. So yeah, that was probably the main positive aside from Maxi's 90. That was the only positive from a batting side because the rest of it was pretty embarrassing. Being 7 for 75, it was very difficult to turn things around, but if there's one man who can do it, then it's Maxwell. But yeah, that was kind of the only positive, that bowling innings and Maxi. But I'll hand over to Josh. Do you want to share some thoughts maybe on what you thought was positive?
Yeah, I definitely think our bowling lineup was probably the most positive thing in that night. Obviously, bowling them out for 123. That was our best bowling display in the season. So, and I think Steketee taking the fifer, that really helped us a lot too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Steketee was really a big contribution. He started off pretty bad. He bowled 3 wides when he's in his first bowls, but then made up for it, had an incredible 4 overs, conceded very little amount of runs, and yeah, taking 5 wickets, that's a first for him, and also assisted by Joel Paris. He took 3, and Peter Siddle was also good with the ball as well. Zach, what were your thoughts on the Renegades? What were some of their positives from last night?
Well, for me, I feel like it was the one of our biggest inclusions out of the. I think we had 3 to 4 ins for the I don't know who we had out, but we had 4 ins, and one of those big inclusions for us was Ferguson Hill. I believe 2 games ago he got hit for like I can't remember who it was against. He got hit for like 45, and then he got like 1 wicket, and then he got dropped for 2 games. He comes in, bowls 4 overs and gets 2 for 15. By far our best bowling performance. Tom Rogers is really good on the bowling side, 2 for 40, I believe, 2 for 41. It was a bit of a rough night for the captain who bowled 40. He got hit for 40 or 4 overs, and Kane Richardson took 2 wickets for 40, and Zampa bowled 3.2 overs, I believe, and got 1 wicket for about 22. So the bowling was probably the best thing about us the whole time. We seemed to really feel confident about coming in and like to get you guys down for about, I think it was like 3 wickets, and the power play was really big, especially with Ferguson Hill going on a hat trick and actually nearly getting a hat trick. I think it was a drop. I don't know who hit it, but it was a dropped catch in the gully from Will Sutherland, which would have gotten him the hat trick, but it was unlucky. But for the batting perspective, not much to say there. Renegades can't chase down a really easy total. Like I watched, I think a few games. The first game against Perth, we had to chase 141 down, but it came down to the last over, and we we couldn't even chase 140 until the last over. So I believe our best batsman was Tim Seifert, who got out for 22, and then our next best batter was the debutant Harry Dixon, who I think he hit two. He got 10 runs off 4 or 5 balls. I'm pretty sure. So it was it was a rough night for the batting, but a really good sign for the signs of the bowling for the future, I reckon.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think your bowling was really impressive. When you guys had us 7 wickets down for only 75 runs, I think the whole Stars fan base were very worried. You know, our season was on the line. And yeah, it was really good bowling from you guys, to be honest. And as you mentioned, the batting probably wasn't so impressive, but there's always things to work on. But I'll hand back to you, Heath, to take us over to the next question.
Okay, so obviously we love some positives, but what were some negatives from a Stars point of view, and then the negative and the Renegades point of view, besides like the Renegades losing? Like what was the overall negative that we need to work on? So Renegades.
I think the one main negative, which we also had last game, was not being able to maintain a partnership. Wickets just kept on falling. The Renegades just kept on taking wickets. So that really slowed our run rate down, and we were behind by a lot. You know, at the 10 over mark, we were only at 65 odd runs. So we were falling behind a lot, and that was just because we didn't have a solid partnership. I mean, it wasn't until Maxwell and Hussam Amir came in where the partnership started. Not that it was much of a partnership contribution from Mir, but we weren't losing wickets at that time. That's when we were making runs. But it seems early on we just couldn't build a partnership. You know, Rogers went out for a silly shot, Harper went out, Duckett went out. We just couldn't build it. So I think that was the main negative. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of negatives in our batting lineup, and just the way how we, just focus on that one player, Maxi. I think we definitely can't do that, especially if we win the next game and we go into finals. We have to rely on all our batters to get those partnerships. If it wasn't for Maxi, we would have easily been done in that game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think Maxi was really the only saviour for us. Not much else really about that. Zach, what did you think from a Renegades perspective?
The negatives.
Yeah, some negatives.
Yeah. I think it was. I really think it was once again our batting. It's not our our negatives for that game is pretty much been the negatives that the Renegades have always had for the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years, and it's our imports are not stepping up to the plate. Like we signed we have had some really good imports, but when it comes down to it, the imports like Seifert, Bethel, and I think that's all we had. But they really need to step up. And Bethel getting out for one, Seifert can't seem to get past 20, and it also needs to be our big name players as well. Like Josh Brown got out for a stupid shot that we shouldn't have taken, and we need we as I was saying to some friends as well. We just needed that one person to step up who has been last 2 seasons. I'm talking about Jake Fraser McGurk. He had been really good for the last 2 seasons, but for some reason he just can't get past 20, and it's the same with us. Partnerships, we can't. We're taking stupid shot. We're taking on the bowlers too much, and I think from the bowling's perspective, they need to. Oh, well, we just need a couple more spinners, I reckon. Like we can't just rely on Zampa. We can't rely on Zampa every week. Like that's why it was a good fresh a bit fresh to see Jacob Bethel come in, and he actually took a wicket as well, so it was good. But I reckon it's imports need to step up, and we need to stop taking on the taking silly shots like that. Like it's a pretty bad game for us when we hit the ball into the air, and we always seem to find Duckett who took 4 catches. So yeah.
No, I really agree with that, and I like how you mentioned the international players, and that's something I've actually noticed from the Renegades. I mean, Laurie Evans is someone who me and Heath were looking at targeting in the off season for the Stars. But to be honest, I'm glad we didn't take him. He was in such good form at the Scorchers, and then he's really dropped off for you guys, which has been disappointing. And yeah, Jacob Bethel hasn't seemed to make a decent total. And also Tim Seifert, like you mentioned, has had some decent innings, but hasn't been able to get past that kind of 20 to 30 odd runs mark. So yeah, that's a big letdown for you guys. And it's been pleasing for the Stars that our international players have been quite good for us. You know, Ben Duckett, Dan Lawrence, Usama Mir have all been really good. Hopefully Tom Curran will come back and please us from injury, but we will wait and see on that. And also you mentioned your big name players like Josh Brown and Jake Fraser-McGurk. Yeah, that's also a similar situation. Josh Brown performed really well last season for the Brisbane Heat and then has struggled quite a lot in BBL 14 at the Renegades. And Fraser-McGurk, I think potentially the pressure's gotten to him a little bit, being selected in the Australian side for T20 and ODIs, maybe some higher expectations. He might be falling under the pressure a little bit. He is still young, so a lot of potential for him. But yeah, I really like that. Back to you, Heath.
Yeah, for my negative, I would say Osama Mir's 30 odd. He took a great catch. He went for it was so like a weird choice bowling Sama Mir, like getting smacked for 30 odd and couldn't take a wicket. Like he tried, but he just the ball was just him, and which was not bad at all. And Maxi not getting 100, which I would have loved to see. That was all well, but it was a great positive win, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, no, a huge positive. Probably one of the biggest wins of the season in terms of how much it matters for our position. And I want to talk just on the ladder quickly and that kind of finals position, because I know there's been a lot of questions from everyone about who can still make finals, what's going to happen, and this and that. So we'll just cover that. Statistically, every team in the Big Bash can still make finals right now. Two teams are locked in, the Hurricanes and the Sixers, but the race is on in the next week for every team. They can all still make it statistically, so it's going to be a big week of important games. I know the Renegades need to win both of their games, Zach, if they want to have a chance at some finals. The Scorchers are going to need a win tonight against the Thunder, because if they lose, then they will finally not be playing finals after all these years. So yeah, and obviously the Stars need to win against the Hurricanes on Sunday night to secure their spot. So yeah, I just thought I'd touch on the ladder and the situation there, but that's what's going to happen. Do you have anything to add, Heath?
Frenchie, did you want to say what you said to me about the smart play of getting Maxi out?
Yeah. So I feel like the biggest momentum. Well, I wouldn't call it a momentum shift, but the biggest moments of the night, despite Fergus Neal going on the hat trick, was the decision from Sutherland to bowl Jacob Bethel, the second last over of the game. I feel like it was a really smart. So from a coaching's perspective, you get the Osama Mir on strike. I believe the first ball from Bethel to Osama Mir was nearly a run out due to him falling over, or a stumping due to him nearly falling over. Second one was a really good dot ball, and the third one we got him out, which then that brings in, I'm pretty sure that bring in Steketee, which then that puts the pressure on Maxwell to pretty much go, all right, I need to get us over the line, get my 100. But that kind of gets into his head, which I believe the first couple of balls of the over, I think it got into his head and he chopped it onto the stumps and took a bit of a silly shot. So I think from a coaching and for a captaincy point of view, it was a really smart decision from the Renegades to bowl Jacob Bethel that second last over when they could have gone Zampa. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I really like that take. It was good to see the Renegades opting for some different bowlers, and yeah, I think Bethel was the right option, and the tactics from Sutherland obviously worked. So we'll move on. Obviously, both Melbourne teams now hoping to play finals, but it's going to come down to the wire. I'll start with you guys, Josh and Heath, on the Stars, then I'll get Zach's thought after for the Renegades. Do you think there needs to be any changes to our lineup, considering we have to get everything right in order to make finals? There's no room for error, so we have to make sure we're choosing the correct lineup and the correct players And so, judging after that game, is there anyone who should be called up to the team, and is there anyone who should be dropped? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I seeing Duckett and Mia, playing their last game last night, I think it's gonna be difficult to see like who can replace them. I know we've got Tom Curran to come in. We've also got Brody Couch as well. But I mean Ben Duckett is a batter. Like I'm not too sure like who's gonna step in for Duckett.
Yep. No, I agree with that. And I've been thinking about it all day because our lineup is going to look a little bit different without Duckett and obviously Near potentially being gone as well. And we don't have a status on Tom Curran's injury, hoping for the game against the Hurricanes, but we never know. So, yeah, we're going to be down a few international players. So we're going to have to rely on people to step up. Tom Rogers is going to have to make some runs. Sam Harper's going to have to make some runs. Just to assist Maxwell and Stoinis, because as much as everyone wants Rogers and Harper dropped because they're not doing anything, we have nobody to replace them. We have no batters on the sidelines that can come in and get the job done. So it looks like they're going to still be in the team, and without Duckett as well, that means we have to add someone else. So we don't really have too many options. Tom Curran will definitely have to put on a show and help strengthen everything. But yeah, we're looking a bit shaken up without internationals, and we also probably won't be signing anyone for the last game. I don't think, I'm not sure if Cricket Australia, if it's their policy, but all the other players are already playing in other leagues, if you know what I mean. All the international players have gone to the IL T20 that's on right now, or they're in some other competition that's happening. So it's going to be really hard to sign an international player. Therefore, we're just going to have to stick with our domestic list for now. But Heath, do you think there's any players that we need to change in the lineup or strategies before our next game?
Well, I reckon we need put Brody Couch in. Go. If you want to third in, maybe either McKenzie or McKenzie, just so we have like the players to strengthen our lineup, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I understand McKenzie coming in for me because that's spinner for spinner. But with Brody Couch, where do you think he's coming into the lineup? Because if I'm being honest, Peter Siddle, Mark Steketee, and Joel Paris are all bowling really well and taking wickets. So I'm not sure if Brody Couch would get a spot in that team. We'd have to take one of those guys out.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Do we want to get?
What were you going to say?
I think we leave Siddle, Steketee, and Paris in the team because they're really important bowlers to us. Tom Curran, I'm thinking he'll have to come in for Ben Duckett and he'll have to really try his best in the batting.
Yep. It looks like we're going to be shortened of a batter in a way. I'd say the XI would be looking something like Rogers and Harper opening, which is, I know, shocking, but anyway. And then we'd probably have Webster, Stoinis, Maxwell, Cartwright as kind of that top six. And then you've got Curran at the all-rounder position at 7, and then 8, 9, 10, 11 would be our bowlers. So, look, that's not a terrible lineup. It's just that the top order would be weakened in having Harper and Rogers open without Duckett. So, look, we'll be losing a little bit of strength, but I think it's not too bad. Zach, do you think the Renegades need to make any changes to their lineup in order to secure a win in the next few days?
Yeah, I think so. I really think that we need to kind of change our top order a little bit because I believe we have Josh Brown openings fine, but I honestly can't remember who else opened. But I really think we need to like probably drop someone, and I know Liza said like Harry Dixon. I reckon we need to move him up because he came in like at 5 or 6. I'm pretty sure, and which was really really late for a batter who didn't even bowl in the overs. So I feel like I do know that I think yesterday we signed a guy by the name of Tawanda who is known to be a really really big hitter. So I think we kind of bring him up to the top order open with Josh Brown, because then we've got those really, really big hitters to kind of give us a bit of an advantage earlier on. And then I honestly think that the call needs to be made to drop Fraser McGurk, because I just don't think he's not cutting it. Like, we have so many players who are doing way better than what he is, and I honestly think that bringing Tawanda in and Fraser McGurk out. I do think our bowling lineup is pretty okay. I think if any changes were to be made, um, this is going to be a really from a hot take from a Renegade supporter, but I think if you want to make room for a spinner, I don't know which spinners we have to bring in, but the only room we have to get rid of it, I think it is probably someone like a Kane Richardson or a Ferguson Neal, because you've got Rogers. Sutherland's not going out because he's the captain. Rogers is in really good form because he still holds the golden arm at the moment. So I keep Ferguson Neal after his performance, but I honestly think so. The changes we need to make is Fraser McGurk out, Tawanda in, and Ken Richardson out. And I don't know if we have any good spin bowlers in the back, but we need another good spin bowler to kind of help back up Zed for a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like that. I think it's interesting, seeing all these changes happen so late in the tournament with other teams. Everyone's desperate to get that final spot, and you really have to ensure that you're choosing the right 11 guys to go out and get the job done. And, the Renegades have a couple of people who they could potentially bring in. Mackenzie Harvey is kind of one of those top-order batters that has been overlooked in the second half of the season. I know you guys put John Wells in to give him a go the other game, but he tore his hamstring, so he'll be out probably for the remainder of the year, which sucks for him as he is getting older. But I think Mackenzie Harvey could potentially come in. I'm not sure about replacing McGurk or who you guys should replace, but I know there are some batters that haven't been in great form for you guys. But I think from a bowling point of view, you guys are pretty much good to go. I mean, you've got a solid lineup, a solid bowling attack, so it should be good. Heath, do you have anything you'd like to add, or are we going to wrap up?
No, we'll probably thank you guys for coming on, my co-host, and Frenchie, thank you for coming on as well, for giving us an insight.
No worries.
Yeah, it's been great to review another positive game. Obviously, 4 wins in a row now for the Melbourne Stars, and we look for that 5th win to hopefully secure a finals spot in BBL 14. So it's going to be a big week of supporting other teams to try and get certain teams to lose for ladder percentage reasons. So I'll be keeping you guys updated on who we want to win and who we want to lose in other games, just so we know what our chances of finals are going to be like. But it's been great to have Josh helping host us again here on the podcast, and also good to have Frenchie on as a guest to get a Renegades point of view.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having me.
No problem, mate. Josh, you want to say anything?
I'd just like to say, hopefully all the games we want teams to win go our way, and hopefully the game on Sunday against the Hurricanes go our way too. So go Stars.
Go Stars. Thank you guys for coming on for another episode, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Go Stars.
Go Stars.
What you doing?